Hello, it's Emma Holmes coming in from Rockstar HQ, and today I am musing around storytelling in business. So it is absolutely gorgeous to have you here. Please do make sure that you have subscribed to the channel and that you've hit the little bell for notifications so that every time we have a brand spanking new YouTube video that you are made aware of it and that you're not at the mercy of finding out by another means, because otherwise you might miss out. So today I want to talk to you about storytelling in business. This is a question that I've been asked. This is something that I see a lot of. I see a lot of people saying, in your marketing, make sure that you're telling stories. But what does that even mean? How does that even become part of your marketing on a day-to-day basis? Let's look at it. Let's have a little bit of a deeper dive into this and see what it is all about. So, in at number one, I want you to start to think about your presence, your message, the stuff that you share out there. I want you to stop thinking about it as marketing, because I know that this is a huge resistance for lots of people. When we talk about it being marketing, it sounds like there has to be a lot of rules attached to it, that there's things that you don't know, that there's things that are, kind of beyond your reach, that you might get it wrong, that you might mess up. And marketing often comes with that kind of rigidity and that kind of clenched feeling about sales and about selling. And whilst sales and selling is massively important in your business, it is also incredibly important for you to be able to switch this around a little bit. So instead of thinking about your communications out to the world as being marketing, as being something that you can get wrong, as being something that's clenched, yada, 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 let's switch that word and call it communication. Because what we're doing with absolutely everything that we put out there is we are communicating with our audience. We are creating connection through communication, whether that is by video, whether that is by audio, whether that is by imagery, whether that is by the written word. We are creating a communication path with our audience that creates connection. That is what's important when we're looking at the messages that we're putting out there into the world. So storytelling is part and parcel of creating that connection. And lots of people will just say, make sure that you include storytelling in your business. Make sure that you're telling stories in your business. Storytelling makes your message massively impactful. But then people just go, I don't even know how to start with this. I don't know what it means. I don't know where I'm supposed to be telling stories, what stories I'm even supposed to be telling, what this even looks like. And I want to go into that one a little bit with you today and just kind of uncover a little bit of what storytelling can do within your business. Benefits of storytelling is that we are it's a ridiculous statistic. We're something like 25 times more likely to remember a story than we are a fact. And our brains are wired for storytelling. Way back in cavemen kind of times, everything was communicated through the telling of a story. Everything was communicated around a campfire through storytelling. And as humans, we are genetically made up to take on board information from storytelling. And that's the first one. People are going to remember your message even more with the story attached to it. Secondly, it's going to be ridiculously more interesting. It's more interesting to hear a story than to hear a list of facts or, something that's very... We want to have a story attached to it. So it brings memory function into play. People are more likely to remember it. It brings engagement function into play because people can engage with your content much more if there is a story around it, if it's wrapped up, and if it's feeling yummy and gorgeous to consume. We are also more able to articulate our factual basis with storytelling, so we can not only make the message have more gravitas, but equally we can make sure that there's a deeper understanding of the message that we're providing by telling stories with that message. Now, storytelling can come in a number of ways. Storytelling can be as simple as providing examples and creating examples when you are talking about a particular area within your business. So the example that I used when I was talking to somebody about this the other day was we were talking about the ownership of results, the pressure that people feel for their clients and customers to get results. Now, often what is said in these circumstances is, detach from the outcome, detach from the outcome. And that's not really that easy, is it? Because if you are, a really passionate soul, I'm a really passionate soul. I really want, the very best for my rock stars. I want them to be able to achieve huge things. I want them to go off and fly, absolutely fly. And I can't detach from that outcome because, that is something that's important to me. But equally, I can't take responsibility for the outcome because I am only a proportion of what produces that outcome. I'm not the only element that creates that outcome. And ultimately, the responsibility lies with my client, my crowd, whatever that might be. So if you watch this video and you do absolutely ball all with it and you decide, actually, you know what, that was nice, it was good, but I'm going to crack on and watch another video, or I'm going to go and do something else, whatever that might be, that's completely cool. But that's you having received the information and made your own decision in order to move forward in a different way, or in get on with your day, or whatever that might be. That's not my responsibility as to whether or not you take that and implement it. It's your call. I can provide you with the information. I can provide you with the help and support. I can provide you with, a really great incubator environment for growth. But if you don't meet me in the middle, then I can't create those results for you. I can't run your business for you. I can't do that for you. And the story that I told around creating this is, I said, one of the things about outcomes. So, for example, if you went to Slimming World, Weight Watchers, some organisation around weight loss, if that was something that you decided that you were going to invest in, so you've invested, some time, effort, energy into going to that particular place, or getting involved in that, learning about that particular diet or whatever it might be. You've invested some money because it's a business, and you've invested your money in that, and you meet a consultant who is going to be the person that's going to help and support you to lose weight. Now, they're going to create an environment. It's not a great example because it's not necessarily the best way to do it, but by the by, they're going to create an environment whereby they're giving you every opportunity to follow the plan, so to speak. If you choose not to follow the plan, then that's not your consultant's responsibility. If you jump on the scale for next week and it's plus £4, then you're not going to blame the consultant for that. That isn't how that works. We have that expectation that an environment can be created for us, but ultimately we've got to show up for ourselves. We've got to take responsibility and show up for ourselves. And that was the story that I used to help and support one of my rock stars to really get that ingrained in the fact that, there was only a responsibility for her to deliver the information, to create the environment, to give the hints and tips, to give the support, to give the strategy, to give the structure, to give the cheerleading, to create that incubator for the very best results. But it was up to the person to take hold of that and to do it. We can pass that over, but if they choose to just drop it, that we can't have that as our responsibility. So creating ways of using examples in what you're talking about is a great way of ingraining a message and creating a story within the business environment or within what you're trying to communicate to people. We could have gone with, you're not responsible for other people's results. Make sure that you detach from other people's results. It isn't your responsibility. We could have just said that. And actually, that's not going to have as big an impact as creating the story around it and creating a simile around it and showing people how that might be something in real life that they can draw on those experiences and be able to take what they know to find out what they don't know, which is a big thing that I talk about, is, being able to take areas that, you get that principle, the same principle is applied in the Weight Watchers Slimming World type of scenario to a service business in a different type of scenario. So it gives that ability to see a simile in there. So you can create stories with examples. One that I'm really passionate about, and it is something that kind of just out of my mouth is analogies. So analogies where I talk about things like your logs on a fire. So I could talk about the fact that you only get so much time, effort and attention every day. Decide where to put it. That's where magical things will happen. But the analogy that I do talk about is your logs. So I talk about the fact that you have on any given day so many logs that you can put into fires. If those logs are put into certain fires, those fires will continue to burn. If you decide to remove those logs from a fire, then what you're doing is you're removing your time, effort, energy and attention from that situation, and ultimately that situation has to sizzle out and it will become just warm embers, and ultimately the flames will be gone from that situation. So we can always choose where to put our time, effort, energy and attention. Those are the fires that will stay alight. And the analogy of taking that time, effort, energy and attention and making those logs allows you to have that mind kind of diagram, that feeling of what that really does look like. I talk about muddy footprints on carpets, the fact that, that you can have, you can have bad days, you can have a bit of a pity party, but the last thing you want to do is get your muddy footprints all over the carpet, because that's just going to end up being a big job. Take the shoes off, decide that you're not going to keep those shoes on anymore, and move on without those muddy footprints on the carpet. You can use stories from experience, and obviously what we don't want to do here is breach anybody's confidentiality or to put information out there that isn't appropriate. You've got to look at your boundaries on that and decide where your boundaries lie insofar as, popping information out there into the public domain and how you do that. But you can use things like stories. So you can say that you are going to recreate a story around a certain thing. You can talk about, I was asked this. So one of the things that I've shared in this video was the actual conversation that I had with one of my rock stars around being responsible for people's outcomes and results. So you can talk around certain issues and stories that are results based on the results that your clients have had, based on results that you've had. Then you can also bring in real life experiences of things that kind of got you thinking about stuff and allowed, certain thought paths to occur. So I'll often talk about, things that I've done or that I've experienced, whether they're business or not, if they've created a thought path into something else. So, you could say, for example, that, you were walking around the shops in the town centre and that you noticed that this certain type of packaging really drew your attention in. What can you learn from that? So what can you learn from this type of packaging that really captured your attention? Was it bold? Was it vibrant? Was it exciting? Was it this? Was it that? Was it the other? And you can, if you were talking about, for example, branding, or if you were talking, for example, about building your business and standing out, and take a quick photograph of it, and you could tell the story around what that got you thinking about. So we can create stories from all sorts of things. We can create stories from the real life. So the things that have actually happened to us. We can create analogies which give more gravitas and weight to a principle that we're trying to chat about. We can talk from an example point of view, taking examples from other places and using them elsewhere. We can talk about questions that we're often asked, things that we've experienced, because when we look at creating more of a narrative and more of a story around these things, it's going to create more interest. It's going to, people are generally more interested in stories, in things that are going to be more impactful. They're going to understand it better. So as a general rule, storytelling absolutely has a huge place in your communication with your audience. It is something that you do need to embrace. It is something that you do need to think about. And I hope that these examples here have given you some ideas of what you could think about to create some story narrative in your business. I'd love to know if you have had any flashes of inspiration. Get in the comments, let me know whether you've had any flashes of inspiration, whether you found this completely interesting, whether you've got more questions around storytelling, because I can do additional follow-up videos to help and support you. But I hope that that's given you a little bit of food for thought to get you going. So go create some stories, go and create a bigger impact, go and create a bigger connection and more gravitas around your message. Have an ace day, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.